could be you too.
Welcome to the LWOO show. We are back at it again, you guys. Last month we did Mother's Day, and now this month we're doing Father's Day. Wow, this is amazing. So I'm just going to jump right in because that's how excited I am. So the first thing I'm going to do is read off my dad's bio. Okay, so here we go. Arthur Perry Yogi Ward is an Army veteran, entrepreneur, business owner, property owner, actor, father, son, a grandfather, motivational speaker, and a God-fearing man. Arthur, better known as Yogi Ward, or my favorite title, my dad, was a one-man taxi operation. He has his own limousine company, and it has expanded into a city and statewide company by partnering with airports, business establishments, and so many more. My dad graduated from Kennedy King College, and while he was there, he starred in a famous play called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He knocked his role out of the park, y'all, and to this day, he is still known for playing the part Randall Patrick McMurphy, BKA Mac. In the motivational speaking world and business world, he has worked alongside Les Brown, Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, and Barack Obama, just to name a few of the legendary greats, because he is now a legendary great in his own lane. He is definitely someone that you can count on to make a difference in your life and an impact that will leave you feeling inspired, motivated, and fearless. I'm so honored and proud to call this man my father. And the unconditional love and support he gives his grandson is totally, and beautiful. It is doused in favor, and it is truly something that we love seeing. I love you so much, Daddy. And I just want to say happy Father's Day again. And we thank you for coming back on the LWOO show because it is such a blessing to always encounter greatness wherever we go. And we know we always get greatness when we talk to you. Welcome back, Yogi, to the world. And welcome back, Daddy, to my show, the LWOO show. Welcome, Yogi, my daddy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes. So, wow, Daddy, we haven't done this since COVID. I mean, wow. Well, actually, when I first did this with you, I was pregnant, and Championship wasn't even here yet, and we were interviewing, talking about, him being a COVID baby, him coming into the world as a COVID baby and everything. So, I just want to know, how does it feel now being on the other side as a grandfather? Because now he'll be 3 years old tomorrow.
Well, it feels fantastic as a grandfather and a grandfather of all of my grandkids and a great grandfather for all of my grandkids. But it feels really great and special to be able to participate and watch them grow up, because it reminds you of how much care it took for me to grow up with my parents. And one little funny thing I want to tell them about this is when I was like 3 years old, my grandmother had a rooster, and the rooster would not let us out the yard. So whenever we tried to go to get out of the yard, the rooster would come running and peck at us to get us away from the gate so we couldn't go out the yard. So many years later, I was always telling that story. And I asked my mother, I said, what was up with that rooster? And she said, oh, grandmama put the rooster's feed on the gate hanging. Well, the rooster thought we were trying to get his food. So the rooster would come a running, and he would back us up. But I'll continue on. I have another little story about that, of how I learned how a switch will hurt you real good. Okay, and that is another story that I can briefly go into, because I look at my grandkids, I look at some of them, and some of them are really great, and some of them are kind of mischievous. But I look at them, and I look at the one there, Tylen. I look at him, and he's falling out and doing all kind of things. When you tell him don't do something, he wants to fall out on the floor and have a fit, and then he wants to look back to see if you're looking, like that. And so I told him and said that, Lauren, he does the same thing Lauren used to do. Lauren used to hold her breath and fall out. Boom, and fall out on the floor. And so we used to back up off of her to give her everything she wanted also. But then I started examining it even more to find out, where's all this coming from? Well, I found out. As a kindergarten little boy and went on up, and I was in the 3rd grade, I believe it was. And I used to pull this little girl's hair. But then we went on and we was friends, and then we got to the 7th grade and the 8th grade. And I was still pulling her hair, but the teacher told me, if you pull it again, we're sending you home. Well, they sent me home. And man, oh man, my mother told me then, while you're home, I don't want you to look at that TV, and especially don't you look at those soap operas. And when she left, you know how kids is. We said, she gone, I'm going to turn the TV on, I'm going to look at what I want to look at anyway. But my mother wasn't gone. She came around to the back of the door and popped me right on the head. Boom! And she started hitting me and just hit me so hard, she beat me like she didn't know me. I had to holler, hey, mama, it's me. And she said, now you're going to really get it, boy. Go out there and get that switch. I went out there and got that switch, and she swung it and hit me the first time. Boom! I said, oh! And she went to swing it again, and I grabbed hold to it. And she said, let it go, boy. Let it go. And I would let it go. And so she said, you need to let this go. Let it go. And I wouldn't let it go. So what happened was that she said, listen, I want to know exactly what you have learned from watching that TV. I said, Mama, well, to all my children, as the world turns, we know you love the love of life. But in this bruised, fractured alien world, we know that you are young and restless. We know you're searching for your own private secret storms, standing at the edge of night. But you cannot seek to escape into another world, for these are the days of your life. And I said, Mama, see, that's part of education. I said, because, you got to tunnel a hope through the mountains of despair for education. See, your education can outdance Michael Jackson, I told her. Your education is like LL Cool J. Your education is a Hallmark card. It will send you the very best. Your education is like Listerine. It's strong, but it lasts long. Your education is like a Timex watch. It takes a licking, but it keeps on ticking. Your education is like Coca-Cola. It's the real thing. It's like Pepsi-Cola for the new generation. Your education is like Visa. It's everywhere. And your education is like American Express. Don't you leave home without it. And my mother dropped the switch. She said, man, if you learned all of that, then you need to be in acting. So I went on and got into the theater. And I played One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Well, wow. Well, Dad, that's what I wanted to say, because we do want to hear more about your acting background. But that's what I would like to say. First and foremost, you can see that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because you see that even when your mom, she was like, boy, you better get over here. You see that children, they still challenge us because they know how much we love them. And so they test your patience, but like you said, they can be mischievous too, because they still be checking in to see, well, how do they feel about this? So I want to know now, based off of your childhood and what you shared with us, what is the best part now of being a grandfather and also being a father? Did you learn a lot of how to be a father and a grandfather from your parents? Or did you see a lot coming up? Like, how did you step into these roles of being a father and a grandfather?
Well, number one, my father and my mother were great examples of what a family should be. Church going, all of us going to church. My dad was a hard worker. I learned that from him. My dad would take me to all the different places where he was a cleanup guy for windows and the currency exchanges. And they had money in there, and he would show me the money, and he said, see, you clean around it, you pick it up, you put it right back down, because that way you have to be honest on what you do as far as working out there. So he gave me a work ethic at a young age. At 6 and 7 years old, I was with my dad. He taught me how to unscrew lamps and put lamps together at a store that he was working at. And I was back there in the toy room putting toys together, lamps together. So I learned how to do things the way he was going to have it done. And then after I learned so much about being on time, positive, and hanging out, I went out to get me a paper route. And when I first went out for that paper route, I didn't get it because the numbers was kind of not efficient enough for me to be able to hit them right off the bat until they wrote them all down for me. And then I put them into my memory. And I started remembering different things about change, about money, understanding that. I did all of that with the news agency and went on to become the captain of the newspapers and the assistant manager. And then went on before I went to Vietnam and owned one of the agencies before I left to go to the service. So I was a businessman even when I was in high school. I drove my own car. I had my own business. At the age of 16 to 17, I was running my own business right then and there. And as you know, the paper business went out of business. So everybody said, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I drove a laundry truck for a little while. Then I drove a potato chip truck for a little while. And then one guy says, hey, you know what? I need a driver. And he gave me a chance to drive delivery cars. But I wasn't making any money with it, sitting up all night and only doing 2 orders or 2 something like that. Come home, didn't have nothing but about $40 in my pocket. That wasn't going to work. So he said, you need to go down and take the cab test. So I went down there and took that cab test, and the rest was history. I became the #1 cab in the city of Chicago. And it's amazing because I was at a funeral last week, and a guy came up to me and he says, I don't know you, but I heard your name once you spoke. He said, you are a legend. I said, really, a legend? He said, yes, a legend. He said, because people are talking about you all over the internet, all on that. And I didn't understand the internet for a while because I wanted to know how in the world they get me on the internet when I didn't go on the internet, but I didn't know all that. I didn't understand it at first. But he said, you are a legend. And I just kind of, kind of shifted off. But then I was someplace else, and a guy came to me. He said, are you Yogi? I said, yes, I'm Yogi. He says, man, you're a legend out here. People talk about you all over the city of Chicago. I said, oh, really? It never dawned on me that I could be a legend or something like that. I just did the job the correct way. That's all. I befriended people. I had many customers, including Barack Obama. When I first got Barack Obama, Mr. Jim Reynolds, which was one of my clients, and I took care of his kids. And Barack Obama at the time was just state representative. He didn't even know he was going to be a president. And he asked his friend Jim, who could I get to take care of my kids? He said, why don't you use my driver, Yogi? He's really good. And so I went over to see about Barack Obama in Hyde Park at 4:30 in the morning, and his pickup was like 5, and he saw me out there, and he said, "Oh my God, you're here already." I said, "Yeah, well, we have a thing to say in the business. If you're 15 minutes early, you're late. So that means that you got to be here 30 minutes on time in order to be not late." So I went on with Barack Obama, and I teased him about his name, Obama, your mama, I used to say to him. And we would crack up. And I'm telling you something for the people out there. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Sasha and Malia, when they were 3 and 4 and 5, I had them with me then. But they are actually just the way you see them. They are just they don't have no airs. They don't have no, I'm better than you. They don't have none of that stuff. They treat you with nothing but politeness, talk to you about decencies, encourage you to continue to encourage kids and motivate them. So you keep going and you keep going and you keep going with Barack Obama. Then he said, "Hey, I'm going to run for Congress." And I asked him, I said, "Who you running against?" He said, "Bobby Rush." I said, "Oh, I don't know about that, boss." I said, "Because Bobby Rush has got that West Side sold up." He ran, he lost. But he got his name out there. Then he said he's going to run for the Senate. I said, "Okay." So he ran for the Senate. And when he went down to Illinois, I mentioned to him that, "Listen, boss," I said, "listen, you're going down there to Illinois and you're going to vote for the Senate." He said, "Yes." So he went downstate. And I think the other senator got into a little trouble. And Barack Obama became the senator from Illinois. And then he decided he's going to run for president. And I said, "Oh boy, black man president. Oh, not now." So he's going back down to Illinois. I told him, "Listen, do you want me to back the car up? And I'll keep the motor running because we may have to split." And if you ever seen Barack Obama do that walk, he's got like a dip with the walk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we went to out there at 115th near Michigan for his organizing thing, I told him we're going into the hood. I said, "So boss, turn your hat around backwards and follow my lead." And I said, "Watch what I do when I go past these guys that's asking for some money. What's up? What's up, my man? What's going on?" So now when you see Obama, you see him with that kind of dip walk. There's 3, 4 people that's got that dip walk. One is the Godfather, that's the youngest Godfather, and one is James L. Washington. They all got that walk, that I'm bad walk, So we dipped into that. But go ahead.
Well, see, I was going to say, Daddy, it sounds like growing up, you were a great example, and you were able to build a powerful legacy and become a legend because of your dad, because you watched and you learned so many valuable lessons, and you collected so many gems and breadcrumbs from your dad. So my question is, do you think we still have those kind of examples today for our children? Like, I know that Thailand, he's very blessed, to have you as an example, to have Ty as an example. But can you imagine a child out there that doesn't have a Arthur Yogi Ward or a Tyshawn Martin? Can you imagine that? So
we
my
have
question is,
we have a mentoring program that we have always had at Johnny Coleman's church at 115th and Ashland. And the former mayor there is the Reverend Derek Wells. And we have always had a mentoring program for young boys on Saturdays, on Sundays, or whatever. Even the mentoring program that your husband was a part of, that he did before you guys got married. We talked about the marriages. We talked about the husbands that had messed up, the husbands that wasn't a part of some kids' life because you got a divorce. You can divorce the mama, but you can't divorce the kids. So we always had a mentoring program. And that mentoring program we had was always great. We had it on Saturdays, we had it on Sundays. So a lot of the kids that we mentor, and as you know, 6 or 7 of them that was out here in Matson that I got off the corner, which is like about 5 or 6 of them, and took them to church with me each and every single Sunday for 4 years straight. And 2 went off to the service, and 3 went off to college, and 1 became a truck engineer for fixing diesels on a truck. They're all grown now, and they come back and say, if it wasn't for you. I heard something very positive, though, that I hadn't heard and didn't dawn on me. One of my workers that I had with me at the news agency for many, many years was 13 years old when the mother came over and says, nothing I can do with them. You either take them or I end up killing them because I'm just sick and tired of them. So I took them with me and graduated them right into infiltrating as my sons. Those 2 was Mark and David. And those 2 turned out to be some of the most fantastic young men, all because I was the father image. And for Mark and David to have told that story, I wish they was on, to tell that story of what I meant to them, I really deep down didn't realize that I had affected them so much. So several of these young people and young kids, I have made a lot of leeway with them. And we need more. And I haven't stopped yet. I am still with young adults, 21 to 23, that can get a second chance to get their GED to go off to college. Some with YCCS, the Youth Charter Connection Schools, that we help students that's 21 or 19 up to the age of 23 to get their GED to go off to college. So we have done quite a bit, and I guess that's why they say they talk about the legend. But the legend of what they don't know is that I'm the king rapper also. I can out rap P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, LL Cool J, Jay-Z, you name them. I can out rap them all. And they want to know, how in the world can this old man rap? Well, I do it like this. When you turn on the TV, the news media will say that this generation is lost and unconcerned. And this generation is copping out and popping pills just for thrills, are laid back, selling crack, they're chilling, ill and being cool, acting like fools and disobeying the rules. But if you want better grades, you must put down some hip hop for some homework, some Master P for some chemistry, because you won't get your cap and gown and your degree rapping and clapping with OJZ. Sometimes you got to give up and get down with Foxy Brown and say to the world, how do you like me now? And when you see Run DMC, it means run, don't miss class. So put down that bit and crack that wine. Let's study, let's work, let's develop your mind. I came here to say to you today, as a people, you got to go another way. You're red, black, white, yellow, and green. The life is worth more than a hit on crack. I'm going to send you to Penn State and not the state pen. I'll send you to Morehouse and not the big house. I'll send you to Yale and not the jail. Why? Because you choose to be a man that work as hard as you can. You're irrepeatable. You're unbeatable. Now use your time to develop your mind. I am the Yogi Man, the old man's rap. Word up, I say.
Hey, that was good, Daddy. That was good. And that was very good. And see, that's what I'm saying. This is what the children need to see. And I'm going to ask you one more question, Dad, and then I'm going to open it up to the audience to see if they have any questions for you. And then we're going to transition to our next and final interview. But I would like to know, based off of what you did, how special is it being a black man, a black father, a black husband, and a black grandfather? Because what you just did with the rapping, you would not be able to do that if you weren't proud to be a black man, a black father, a black husband, a black grandfather. So you were inspired by people who have encountered and came into your life and that you've encountered. So
Correct.
I would like to know now, what makes it special? How do you have so much confidence?
Well, one thing that makes it real special for me is that when I was in high school, I had a homeroom teacher named Naz Rogers. And I had been in school for a little while and I got there a little late. So I had to start all over again in school. So I was behind everybody. And so since I had a job and a car and business, one day I walked into his shop and I said, Mr. Rogers, I'm thinking about quitting. And man, what did I say that for? He picked up a 2x4,
Wow.
slammed it on the table and told me, I'll put this 2x4 upside your head if you talking about quitting. After you did trigonometry, geometry, biology, economics, and science, and you passed them with A's and B's, and now you want, because you got a little stinking job, you want to get out of here and quit. He said, get out of my room before I put this 2x4 upside your head. He said, all these teachers are talking about your possibility and what you have done. And that's when I found out that so many people cared a lot about what I had done and how I had overcame a lot of stuff. And then I had a lot of mentors too that was in the newspaper business that mentored me. William Samuels, Birgit Pruitt, and also Norman Moore. A lot of people mentored me. Norman Brazelton, all of them, my brothers, okay, my brother Victor, my brother John, all of them, they were mentors towards me. I was the youngest in the family. Even my sister would protect me and would jump on somebody if they bothered me. And one thing that my sister told me that I didn't know, because I forgot, that I always thought I was really strong and better than everybody because I used to eat spinach. Like Popeye the Sailor Man, that's what I thought.
Spinach.
So I could eat that spinach, so that was the habit that I had for all of that. And I went after everything the same way. I made sure that whatever I did, I was polite with people, helping them in and out of the cars, helping them get their groceries up on the steps, making sure that they got a chance to even call back. And as you know, the paper business went out of business. And when they went out of business, that's when I went and integrated myself into the taxi industry. And I decided that since the taxi industry didn't have anyone of my character, then I told them that I would be the next Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan of the cabs. And I did. So I've been on Channel 2, 5, Fox 9, and all of that. And when it was time for people to be helped to get into colleges and different things, I had people that 4 or 5 tried to get into Howard University, they couldn't get in. But don't forget, I was a driver for the person that was head of Howard University. Mr. Earl Graves was there. And then don't forget, I knew Senator Obama at the time. So all that made was to try to get them in. I did get them in by the help of all of those different teachers and people that I knew. I made sure that people knew my name. I left cards with them all the time, constantly. And people have asked me, how in the world did you build this business where you had 32 guys that you were working with, 5 cars of your own, and you guys took over downtown Chicago and the University of Chicago? How in the world did you do that? I say what I did was became I Need You Now. And we became the car company called I Need You Now. Not if you're somebody else, but if you give us half an hour, 30 minutes when we're downtown, we can get to you. We became the cars I Need You Now. And so we built that business. So it was a lot of different mentors that helped me along the way. A lot of students that helped me with trigonometry, geometry, biology, economics, and science, and stuck right with me, And one of the other funny things that was in school one day, when I joined the Yogi Bears fan club, I had about 16 or 25 ties on me, and I had a roll of tissue paper, and I would pass it out with a sign on the back saying, join the Yogi Bear fan club. And so the people right then and there, when I first came to the school, found out that I was going to be a star. So one day I came to the school with a white tuxedo on and a go-kart. And my friends was pushing me down the hallway because I was going to be famous no matter what. And they pushed me down the hallway, and I'm passing out cards and tissue about Meet Yogi, join the Yogi Bear fan club. And somebody said, "Here come the principal." And man, oh man, they pushed me around, and we had a shop down there. If everybody know about Dunbar, that the incline goes down. They pushed me down there, and woo, I spin around there in Mr. Williams's auto shop, and I parked the little go-kart I had, and the principal came around there, and he says, "Anybody seen that Yogi?" The teacher said, "No, I haven't seen him." But they had me hid back there in the shop room, so he couldn't find me. So before the bell rang, the teacher gave me a pass, and I split to the room, and the principal came and says, "He better been in that class. I was looking for him. He made it to the class." So some years later, I saw that principal, and he was hiding around the grocery store. And every time I was on one end, he would say, "Yogi," like that. I said, "What the heck is all that about?" I go down to that end, and nobody's there. And he would holler, "Yogi." What? So I decided to tip around the other way and caught up with him. And he gave me a big hug. He said, "Let me tell you something, young man." He said, "You was a menace in the school, but let me tell you something. I've been following your record, and you have really honored the things that we really taught you at Dunbar and beyond to what you did at Kennedy King. I saw you in a few plays. I heard you do some speaking and things like that." And so all of this was part of growing up as a father, growing up watching my father, talking to a lot of teachers, talking to a lot of businessmen, and watching them and how I could develop for myself.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing, Daddy. That's amazing. And it goes to show you how having a mentor, a father, a brother, a teacher, it goes to show you how somebody who they invest in your life, invest within you, could really play a big impact, have a big impact on your life and play a big role in your life. So that's beautiful. And now at this time, I would like to open up the floor to other audience members. Does anyone have any additional questions for Mr. Yogi? Okay, going once, going twice. Okay. Well, and Dad, we have some people on today. We have, it comes and goes, people, but so that's okay though. We kind of hit the nail on the head with the questions that we asked. So I appreciate you coming on today, and I would like for you to stay because we are about to transition to your son-in-law, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for just sharing your wisdom and your encouragement and your love and support for our family and for what you do for other people, because you really, really have made a difference, Dad, in a lot of people's lives. I mean, even when I walk into rooms or go places, people are always reminding me of who my father is and what you've done for them. So you definitely are a great Samaritan. You're definitely somebody that God is proud of, because he literally planted a seed within you, and he's been using you as a vessel. And I thank you for being obedient to what God has asked you to do, as a person, as a father, as a grandfather, as a son. You really have upheld your titles well. And I say job well done. So we are going to move right along. We're going to move right along, and I am going to read off the bio for Puppy. Okay, here we go. So Tyshawn Martin, better known as Ty, is an IT specialist and guru, husband, father, son, a Phi Beta Sigma member, a Mason, and a God-fearing man. Ty has over 15 years of experience in IT, and he has his BA in Information Technology from DeVry University. He is dedicated and a hard worker. He goes above and beyond in his personal and professional life to help others And that is the reason why he has received multiple awards for his resiliency and consistency. Ty is my award-winning husband who has always been my number one MVP and the best father I could have prayed for to our son Tylen, who's our number one champ. Our number one champ. And he also is someone that we adore. And I love the way my husband treats him. Champy champ. And I'm so grateful for Champy champ. And he is too. And we are honored to have a man like him in our lives as a husband and a father who goes above and beyond unconditionally. So before the waterworks come, I'm saying welcome back to my husband, my best friend, and my soulmate. Welcome, Ty Ty.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Welcome, LWOO. It's good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. You're looking beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Well, let's jump right in. Wow. Wow. Father's Day. Your son's birthday is tomorrow. June is just all full of blessings, okay? As you can see, we're still in celebration mode because we still got on the t-shirts. but right, okay? Repping for champ, okay? Repping for the champ. Because his birthday is tomorrow and he'll be 3. So, wow. I like I was telling my dad, I know we haven't done this since COVID, since I was pregnant, but baby, tell us, like, with 3 years in the game as a father, officially tomorrow, how does it feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. It's definitely a life-changing experience. It's definitely work, but, it's nothing I would trade in. It's experience, that you can't get anywhere else. So, I love it, man. I learned so much from being a father, just new challenges in life, just, watching him grow every day, watching him learn new words, and it's just amazing, just being a father. I thought I knew what it was like, but actually being a father and being in it, it's totally different. It's a different feeling, just a beautiful feeling, man. Like, regardless, it's just something like, that one of the best things in life, pretty much.
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Wow, that's amazing. And now tell me, is there a difference with being a father and a Black father? Or do you feel like, it's the same?
You said being just a father than being a Black father?
Yes. Is there a difference between? Mhm.
I would say it's a difference only because I think it's a stigma on Black fathers, of us not taking care of our families or being a deadbeat, whatever the case may be. I think the perception of Black men and Black fathers is probably a problem, today. But it's actual Black fathers out there, fathers period. But since we talk about Black fathers, actually is a lot of Black fathers out there are taking care of their kids and taking care of their families and doing what they got to do. It ain't always publicized, always on social media, probably like everybody want it or how society may want it. But, I think it is a stigma that we should shake off. And I think we should be celebrating more as Black men. I think Black men should celebrate themselves, and give yourself a pat back for being a great father and a great husband and, and being there, so.
Yes. And like you said, with being a Black father, do you feel like you all are celebrated enough? Because like you said, there is a stigma out there that Black fathers, the majority don't, like you said, take care of their children, aren't present, so do you feel like fathers are celebrated on, like, for example, with Father's Day, do you feel like fathers get the same amount of love and support that mothers do on Mother's Day?
Probably not. But women do so much, man. It's not a problem for me because I know the mothers go above and beyond, for their kids and their family. I know men do as well, but the mama, she just pretty much like the queen, the you know what I'm saying, the matriarch, whatever you want to call it. So, it's kind of like just how it goes, man. But I think Black fathers, I think we are celebrating. We begin to be celebrated more. You got a lot more women who are coming out on Father's Day and even, on social media saying, you know, how much they appreciate fathers and Black fathers. So we are getting our flowers, you know, but to say would it ever measure up to Mother's Day? Nah. Mother's Day, they ain't nobody touching that, man. That's just what it is. I think over the years, fathers I've been celebrating more, and Father's Day is meaning more and more to men now. And I think it is also encouraging men to, you know, be better fathers because they want that celebration. You know what I'm saying? They want that nod when it's time to. You know what I'm saying? So I think it came a long way. You know, of course we got a long way to go, but it's a work in progress for sure.
Yes, yes. And how was, speaking of Father's Day, how was your first Father's Day? Did it hit you then, or is it hitting you now?
My first Father's Day, every Father's Day be nice though. But the first one, yeah, it was special, you know, because everybody came over to support me. You know, my dad, my brother, you know, my father-in-law, everybody came over to support me my first Father's Day. So that'll never measure up to like any of the other ones, but it's definitely meant a lot. But each one after that, you know, it got its own meaning and specialty to it. So I love it, and I appreciate that day, you know, just to be celebrated.
Yes. And what is the best part about being a father?
Best part being a father is knowing that I'm responsible, you know, for for raising my son. You know, I want to be the man, you know, I want to be twice the man I want to be better than me. So more than anything, being a father to me is just raising them, you know, raising them right, raising them with morals and principles and distilling that stuff into them and teaching them things I wasn't taught, you know, teaching them things my dad didn't teach me, you know, and then later on in life, I'll teach him the mistakes I made in life, you know, things I did wrong, and then I want him to do right. So being a father, just knowing that I got another piece of me that's going to be on this earth that's going to be twice as better as me, you know what I'm saying, that's going to do more than me, that's going to do everything better than me. And, you know, that's my goal, you know, and I just want to raise him right. I want a man to be a good man, good young man, you know, learn his values, you know, appreciate his morals and values and uphold them, you know, because it's easy to become anybody. It's hard to be somebody.
Yes, yes. And what is the best part about being a husband and a father? Because that's two different roles. Do you find those roles challenging?
Yeah, I mean, it can be challenging at times. It's not a blueprint to this stuff, so yeah, it can be challenging at times. But I mean, difference between being a father, you know, that's more so a responsibility, you know, of my son. So I know I have to spend quality time with him. You know, he don't know the word no. He don't care how tired I am. It don't matter. You know, he want to spend time with me, and nothing wrong with that. And you know, I'm all for it. So, with being a father, you know, I can tell Champ what to do. Being a husband, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, being a husband, man, that's beautiful too, because, you know, you taught me a lot. You know, we've been together for a long time. We ain't got to go there. And I've learned a lot from you. You've taught me a lot as a man. You know what I'm saying? You make me step up as a man. You push me. You know what I'm saying? You always constantly on me. You know what I'm saying? Letting me know I can do more. You know, my capabilities and what I'm able to do. So, being a husband, it's great because, you know, you got a beautiful wife behind you, a strong wife that just push you. You know, you just push me, constantly pushing me, constantly on me, always motivating me. You know what I'm saying? You always celebrate me all the time, no matter how big, how small. So, I mean, having a wife, lucky for me, yes, it is beautiful having a wife, you know, because come home, cook dinner, you know, things like that. So we talk, you know, we share our experience with each other, you know, we there for each other. And, you know, it's just there, that foundation there, you know, we built that foundation. So, yeah, it's
That
there
is
for
so,
sure. Like, can't nobody knock that down. That foundation is there.
yeah. Wow, this has been amazing. I want to ask, I want to give an opportunity and maybe sit back a little bit too, so we can see your face.
Okay.
But I want to ask the audience now. Does anyone have any questions for Ty before we close out today? I think that we've had.
Yeah, I got a question.
Oh wow!
I want to know from Tyshawn, what did he learn from the men expressing Christ at Johnny Coleman's church when he came there with his friend Leo and I think Steve? How
Oh
much
man,
did he
well,
learn from that?
I
No
learned a lot.
short answers.
Yeah, that the men's class for sure. I remember that. I learned a lot from that as a young man. It just taught me, the principles of being a young man. Number one, not even being, a husband, anything like that, but being a man, a young man. So it taught me principles and morals, and taught me how to, handle situations. And, also I was in the class with a bunch of just experienced men, and they shared all their stories with me, from guys who got divorced, for guys who, chose the streets, and when they feel they should have went on the straight and narrow. So just so many examples in that class, and at that time. And it just helped me, you know what I'm saying? Because I got experiences from both sides, the good part about it and the bad part about it. And then also just being a man in general, how to carry yourself as a black man, and if you do have a wife or kids or anything, it was teaching you just how to be a great husband and a great father and things like that. So it just instilled a lot of principles and morals in you constantly. We did a lot of like activities and stuff like that. So yeah, it definitely helped me. It definitely did in so many ways, especially being that young and, and trying to do what I was trying to do. That class definitely helped me kind of see where I wanted to go and what type of man I wanted to be.
Right, before you got married. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. The
Yeah,
class
yeah.
was
Before I
before you
got
got
married.
married. And yeah, I was glad that to bring you there to that class. And it did a lot for you. And
Oh yeah. Sure.
one other thing I wanted you to mention about the time when you was mentored by Dr. Winston Johnson right before you got married. How
Wait,
did that help you?
say that again.
I said that before you got married, you was mentored by Dr. Winston Johnson.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And how did that come about far as with you and your wife now um, for mentoring? What did that do for you?
Oh, that did a lot. Dr. Johnson did a lot. Did a lot for me because he was kind of leading that class. Then I kind of had a personal relationship with him too outside of the class. So he always gave me calls, always texting me, just giving me motivations and daily inspirations and stuff like that. And always kept an eye on me, make sure I was okay and constantly checking on me. So Dr. Johnson did a lot of it. He also married us too. So Dr. Johnson would always hold a special place in my heart. He was there, me coming down the aisle. He said a few things to me when I got to the altar. So, yeah, Dr. Johnson, yeah, he's just one of those people, man, always going to hold a special place. Like you said, it was there at the beginning, when I was starting this journey, like kind of getting married and me and Lauren taking that next step. He was definitely a valuable part of that, constantly talking to me, letting me know, if you're gonna do it the right way, you know what I'm saying, and stick with it, you know what I'm saying. Don't run off, or when times get hard, don't, stick it out, And he always taught me that, so whatever you do, just stick it out, and take care of your wife and your family, and and keep those morals and principles, that we learned, and and be the best man you can be. Be a God-fearing man, always put God first. And that's what I always did. So, yeah, for sure,
Mhm.
Dr. Johnson, definitely he's up there.
So,
Right.
and this is, and thank you for letting me jump in, Dad. I do have two questions that I would ask. I would like to ask both of you, and then we're gonna close. I'll close this out with a prayer. But Ty, I would like to start with you. What advice would you give to a young black father, a father who feels like he doesn't have a Dr. Johnson or a Yogi Ward or a Tyshawn Martin, and he doesn't know who to talk to, where to go. He doesn't have a support system or a village. What advice would you give a young black father that's thinking about giving up or walking away from his responsibilities because it's just too much?
Uh, I mean, that's tough to say, especially if you don't have nobody to go to. Like myself, I'm like a self-healer, so I don't go to nobody. I just take time with myself, I, I would say that, if you can, maybe take a walk, maybe take a break. I don't know how severe it is, but if you gotta, maybe go to a buddy house, friend house, just kind of clear your head, before you make a drastic decision, and know why you're doing it and what you're doing it for. But if nothing don't keep you there, always just look at your child. If you got one, or your wife or whatever, just that right there always bring you back, no matter what. Because now with a child, you're not just living for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're living for other people. You know, living for your wife, living for your kids. So before you decide to walk away or whatever you decide to do, you just take a minute, and just see, like, is this really worth it? Something I really want to do? Because, you know, at the end of the day, that child didn't ask to be here. You know, and as a man, that's your responsibility. And most you can do is take care of your child, like you said, not obligated to be with the woman or whatever the case you want to call it, but that son, that's yours. That's yours. That came out of you, not actually out of you, but you know. So yeah, you just take time to yourself. Like, there's no blueprint to this stuff, and I'm telling you, it's not. And it's times where you feel like you just want to walk away or say F it or whatever the case may be, but in the long run, you know, it's just not worth it, you know, because you put so much work into it, and, you know, you built so much, so you just hate to see it go away just because of whatever reason, you know, some just too much pressure or too much stress or depression, whatever, you know, just try to take a walk or something. And now, you know, they got therapy lines and lines like that, helpline. You got a friend, a buddy, or something like that, a family member, you know, just try to reach out. Just get it off your chest. Whatever's bothering you, always get it off your chest. Even if you got to talk to yourself, go in the room, talk to yourself, whatever, you know.
Exactly. Very, very good. Very good. And Daddy, what would you say? What advice would you give to a young Black father who's thinking about walking away?
Well, Black fathers are so important because if you noticed and you look at the background of a lot of young people and young men, even the ones that are very talented and upright and they're ball players or something like that. If you notice, a lot of times, if you notice, you find out about some ball players or whatever, and they go awry. You find out there's no father in their lives. And a lot of ball players that you see are doing really fantastic. You see the father up there in the stand, jumping up and down like there's no more tomorrow. But it doesn't mean that that person can't come out being directly okay. I would say to them, find a mentor. They're all over the place. They're at museums. They're different places. They're at church. And your biggest mentor is God. He's right there on the inside of you. If you get still, talk with him and let him guide you and steal you. And then you start reading and understanding and you start getting books and everything else. Stay away from sitting at the bar somewhere trying to find out what can you do, and you getting into your spirits inside of the bottle. That ain't gonna do you no good, because when you wake up, you still got the same problem. So you have to continue to participate. Yes, is it tough? Yes, it's tough. Life is not easy. Life is not easy. It's tough. But the tough people know how to handle tough times. So if you're going to be tough and stuff like that, just remember that tough times don't come to stay. Tough times just come to walk away. So you will get through it. Tough times, I done had a lot of them, and I done got through a lot of them. And we have never, ever failed. And it's been tough, but we got through with it. We get right back up, dust yourself off, and go right back at it again. And if you need a better job, there's a lot of jobs out there. Quit turning down the little jobs that you can make a difference with. You know, you start low and you move it up high. So you got to start somewhere. So start there, and remember all of the mentors and all of the people. Remember, Barack Obama didn't have his dad in his life. But you can't say that the reason why I didn't have my dad in my life is because that's why come I'm bad and not doing right. Well, Barack Obama, he didn't have his dad in his life, and he became president of the United States of America. So you have to look at that. And there's a lot of more that are very positive that didn't have fathers in their lives. Matter of fact, Dr. Johnson himself didn't have father in his life. So he decided to flip the script. He was not going to go down the same path that his father went down of not communicating with his kids. So you have to flip the script. And whatever it takes for you to get involved, get involved. You know, sure. Do they going to slam the door in your face? Sure. Don't expect them to turn around and just say, okay, Dad, come on in. No, you got to go more than once, more than twice. You got to be more, okay? More and more. Kids don't care how much you can give them. They just only care how much you care. And when you learn that, you'll understand the role of a father. And quit telling those kids not to cry. When you see a kid crying, he's crying because he got water ducts. If God didn't want him to cry, then he would have took the water ducts away. You show me a young man that has got feelings and emotions and cry, I'll show you a young man that'll bring a young lady's flowers every weekend. So you show me that. So quit getting on these boys that are so tough that they don't you cry. You ain't got no business crying, you know? And people always ask the question, are you embarrassed about crying? No, I'm not. Are you embarrassed about crying at church? No, I'm not. Are you embarrassed about crying in front of your wife? No, I'm not. But what about in front of her girlfriends? And then we'll find out whether or not the guy pauses, stops, or whatever. The answer should be, no, I don't. I don't mind crying in front of them because I cry because of the water ducts that's inside of you. And that's what's put there for a reason, for relief. It gives you that relief. And that's part of what a man is all about, is learning how to commit mistakes, make mistakes, and rectify those mistakes, and hang on to everything else that's got to go on in his life as being a father. And that way, you can deal with life and fatherhood at the same time.
Yes, that was powerful, Daddy. And you and Ty really hit the nail on the head when you guys talked about going within, keeping God first. Just like you said, spending quality time, because see in Thailand at Chuck E. Cheese, you know, with you and Ty, you could tell he was very comfortable, and he's always safe with you all because you put in the work, you spend quality time with him. You just don't go play over there and then leave me alone. You know, you actually put the quality time in. So and I know we're coming up towards the end, but I just have one more question for both of you before we close out. And I would just like to know the role of a father. I would like to know, what is the role of a father, and really what is the role of a man, Ty? Because I've heard before that a man, a father, a husband, like he's supposed to be a protector, a provider, you know, a God-fearing man. So I would like to know, Ty, do you agree with that? Is that the role of a man?
Yeah, I would say that's the role of a man. I wouldn't say that nobody else can't help with that role or add to that role, but yeah, I think those qualities is not obligated, but I think a man should take upon if he's able to, you know. So in that sense, I would say that being a man. Wait.
And maybe sit back so we can see you.
Okay, you got to repeat that question. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, what is a man? What is a black man? What is you all's role as a father and a husband? Do you feel pressure? Do you feel pressure to be that man in the household? Do you feel pressure to be a protector, a provider, a God-fearing man? Is that the role of a man? And do you feel pressure to keep up with that?
Yes, I feel that's a role of a man, but not a man's only role. But I feel that is a role a man should be able to uphold if need be. Do I feel that it's pressure? I think sometimes, you know, not probably always from, you know, your wife, but from society itself. Sometimes put pressure on you, make you feel like, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and who said that? You know what I'm saying? Is that like in any book? Like, who, you know what I'm saying? That just, you know, that's just the way of the world. That's just how we think. Just like we feel like, oh, a woman should be able to nurture, cook, clean, and do all that stuff. Like, why can't a man do it? You know what I'm saying? Or why can't he help do it? I ain't say he got to do it all the time. Why can't he do it? So why can't a woman provide, not necessarily provide for him, but if the man is short or whatever, or it's just, you know, it's bad talent. Why can't she?
A partnership.
A partnership. So why can't she come in and fill that void. So I think as society, we need to change the dynamic of like what a wife and a husband should do. So it is a partnership, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 75-25, sometimes it's 100-0. It depends on people's stability, you know what I'm saying, where you at in life. But overall, it's a 50-50 partnership. You know, I signed my name on that, you signed your name on it. That's 50-50, you know? So, but I say that all I have to say is, I think a lot of the roles should be shared. I think the majority of the men should be able to do all those things. But overall, I think a lot of those responsibilities should be shared the same way a man should help a woman with whatever she got going on. And I think that was take off the stigma of what a man should have to do. Now, should he do it? Yes. But do you have to do it?
Right.
You know, that's remaining to be seen. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I feel like a man should be able to. He should be capable of doing all those things. That's the word I look for. He should be capable of doing all those things if called upon. You know, most men will take the initiative and go ahead and do those things. You know, be the provider and all that. They'll just do it because that's just in our genes. That's just the way we are. But if a man doesn't do it, I don't think you should be like, oh, okay, well, now you just, it shouldn't be that way, you know? And that's kind of how I feel about it. It's mixed, but that's a good thing. I think it's a work in progress. Comes to that. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. No, that's excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. That I feel like a lot of the pressure comes from society. So it really is you making up your own rules for your household. So I agree with that. And Daddy, last question. What do you feel like is the role of a man? And do you feel as though all of the pressure that society puts on the man, it should fall just on the man, or do you feel like the man should be able to help the wife and the mother with cooking, cleaning, you know, and vice versa?
Yes, I think so because I think that if a woman has a job on the outside and then she comes home and fix food and take care of the kids, she's doing more work than the man because the father comes home a lot of times and he gets in late and he just comes in and eat. Well, the wife then came from work, got the kids, and fixed the dinner. And you know, and something, something. I won't tell you what the something, something is that night, but the something, something. But I think that that's more or less like that. But I live by poems and speeches and things like that. And the one I want to quote is that Roosevelt, he said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I don't seek handouts. I'd rather take the calculated risk to build, dream, fail, and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still commerce of utopia. I will never cower before any masters, nor will I bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid to think and act for myself and face this world boldly and say, this I have done. Thus, that's what it means to be different than to be common in your life. And I say that you choose sometimes the days not to be common in your life. And that means that as a Black man, you must continue to push forward. With all the odds against you, you still push forward. Everything's against you, still push forward. It doesn't matter. As long as you believe that that Christ spirit that's in you will move you, you keep on working with that Christ spirit. And if you get ready to go in the wrong way, guess what? You can turn around and go the right way.
Come
It just
on.
takes a minute of moving in the right direction. It's just like a train going up the hill. You're going to come down somewhere sooner or later. So come on down that hill. And come on, Black man, stand up. Come on, Black woman, stand up. You know, you got to stand up. You got to stand for everything because if not, you'll fall for anything. So you got
Yeah.
to stand up constantly and making sure that you are leading the way. You don't have to be the lead because women can lead too. Women don't walk behind men now. They walk right along with them. And that thing that's in the marital thing, they took out. They took out obey
They took that out of marriage. They don't got that part no more that says obey. Nobody don't have to obey. You know, you just do the same thing and everything else. As far as the household chores are concerned, I take care of all of the bathrooms in the house and clean up. I take care of mostly all of the washing, and I do all of the ironing. So I do all of that, not because I should do it, but just because I want to do my part is to help my wife that so that she'll have a little relief somewhere. And so I do all the ironing. I do all of the washing a lot of times. Sometimes I have gotten out of washing because I done shrunk a few things, but but I help out in the house as far as what's need to be done.
Yes. Wow. This has been amazing. Daddy and Tad, you all are brilliant. I'm really thankful that I was able to do this with you all today, and I can't wait to have you back again. But thank you so much for just pouring into Black men, Black fathers, Black husbands. Thank you for sharing wisdom and little gems, because I even learned a lot today that I'm going to walk away with. So I just thank you all from the bottom of my heart for coming on the LWOO show, and I cannot wait to have you back again. So I'm going to pray us out, and that will be the end. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for such a beautiful, beautiful and glorious, wow, talk show episode with my father and my husband. I couldn't be more thankful and grateful to be in this position, to be able to have an opportunity to give to the world so that people know that there are people out here having these conversations that want to see the best for fathers, but also for Black fathers. Want to see the best for husbands, but for Black husbands. Want to see the best for men, but for Black men. Because a lot of times, Black men are underrated. And that is the reason why I wanted to acknowledge them and make them feel special, because they are so needed. So I thank you for giving us this platform to be able to inspire and motivate the masses, especially when it comes to Black men. So we thank you, God, for this amazing session. And we cannot wait to do this again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, you all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And thank you for having me.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Peace.
Bye. Yes. Love you both. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The LWOO show, learn word overcoming obstacles. Yeah, that's me, and it could be you too. The LWOO show, learn word overcoming obstacles. Yeah, that's me, and it could be you too.